What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chat HVAC. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chat HVAC, and this episode is the last episode that is going to come out in the year of 2025. I honestly can't believe how fast this year has gone. It seems like every year that I get older, these years go by faster and faster and faster, and maybe it's just the fact that I have three crazy kids that run around my house on a daily basis. I'm sure my wife can attest to this more than me, but it just seems like these years go by faster and faster every single year. So it's always nice when we get to the end of the year to just kind of reflect on the previous year, reflect on what we've done, reflect on who we've impacted, reflect on the message that we've tried to get out over the last year. And this podcast really it hasn't been around very long. It started in the last quarter and a half of 2025. First episode was published in August, actually August 29th of 2025. Seems like we haven't been doing it that long even, but the show has steadily grown, and that's been solely thanks to you guys out there who watch and listen on a weekly basis, and we certainly appreciate you. The show started with no followers, no subscribers, no anything like that, and right now we are knocking on the door of 50, and we certainly appreciate that. That's no small feat over the course of the last couple months. We're looking at the last 3 months really, that this podcast has been up and running, and we certainly appreciate the support that's been expressed by you all who watch and listen on a regular basis. And I'll start today's show like I do every other show. If you're watching on YouTube, we certainly encourage you to subscribe to the show, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Those things help us out a lot. It boosts us in the algorithm. It gets people able to view our videos and to view our content. And you find our content helpful, we would certainly appreciate any help that you would be willing to offer to spread the word. Really, our message here at Chat HVAC and Comfort Solutions, more broadly speaking, as our company here in the Cincinnati area of Ohio, is that we want the homeowner to be as educated as possible. And, we firmly believe that this is your system. You own this system, and you should know as much about it as you would like. And if you're of the type who watches or listens to podcasts of this variety, you probably do want to know a good deal about your system. Now, one thing that I would like to do with this episode is I would really like to get you guys involved in the comment section. I would really love to hear from you all. I would love to hear, going into 2026, what are some episodes that you would like to hear? What are some questions that you have? I thought it would be really cool to do like a Q&A from a customer's perspective or a homeowner's perspective as to, hey, these are the questions that people are actually asking our show. We would love to hear from you. We would love to do a show answering those questions. If you have an experience, or if you have maybe a horror story of an HVAC system that you dealt with, or a repair that you dealt with, send us an email. Our email and our contact information is in the description below, and maybe we can arrange to have you on Chat HVAC as well. We're always open to having people on. Our highest viewed video in 2025, over the last 3 months that we've been doing this podcast, our highest viewed video is actually our interview that we did with one of our great technicians, Brendan Phillips. His episode is titled Top 5 HVAC Myths Costing You Money. You can find that on our YouTube channel or our podcast feed, wherever you consume your podcasts. But I mean, he dove into kind of the top 5 myths that customers may or may not believe. And his episode was really informative and really educational. And it was a really great episode to go over. But, we've done interviews with some of our technicians, but we're not opposed to having, people like you, people that we like to talk to, people that we want our message to get to. We would love to have people like you on the show and to provide your input directly. And we'd love to hear it from a customer's perspective, a homeowner's perspective. And, we value that, and we value your perspective, and we'd love to hear from you in that way as well. But I thought it'd be really cool. And I think what I'm going to do is patch in some clips here into this episode and just kind of give you some of the highlights over some of our most viewed videos over the last couple months. And we're going to take the last 10, 15 minutes of this episode, and we're going to go from there And we will see you guys on the other side of that. We certainly appreciate you all watching and listening, again, supporting us over the last 3 months. We're confident that over a full calendar year of doing this podcast, that it's going to grow even more and reach even more people. And like I said, our goal here at Chat HVAC is to educate the customer as much as possible. I'm sure I explained the name in the first episode that we ever did. It's called Chat GPT for HVAC. Welcome to the Chat HVAC podcast. Our name, Chat HVAC, is a play on words with ChatGPT, which is that wonderful app on your phone or your computer that gives you all the answers to life's questions. Or at least it seems like it does. But that's what we want this to be. We want this to be a resource. We want this to be somewhere where you can go and say, okay, I've got a question about this. I wonder if Scott's talked about it on Chat HVAC, or I wonder if another one of his technicians has talked about it on Chat HVAC. We want this to be a trusted resource for you to come and get some information, to answer your questions, and so on and so forth. So we hope to continue to do that into the future, and any help and support that you all provide would certainly be beneficial, and we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and play some of the highlights of 2025 over the last 3 months that this podcast has been alive. And we hope you guys enjoy, and we will see you guys in 2026. Thanks for watching, everybody. So if you have a snap closure, just pull that off. If you have a little flap that opens, just flip that open, pull your filter out, take a look at it. If it looks dirty, just change it. Recommended replacement schedule. Here's how you can kind of know if it's about that time. 1-inch filters, the little ones that are 1 inch thick, every 30 to 90 days. Do not go longer than 90 days. I would start checking it at 30 days. If it's still good at 30 days, check it at 60. If it's still good at 60, replace it at 90. Don't just check it and say it's good for another 30 days. Replace it at 90 days. It's a 1-inch filter. It doesn't have a lot of surface area. Change that filter. 2 to 4-inch filters every 3 to 6 months, depending on the thickness, okay? A 2-inch filter, I would look at 3 months. So check it at 90 days. If it's okay, don't let it go longer than 4 months. If it's a 4-inch filter, you could probably check it at 4 or 5 months. I would not let it go longer than 6. Okay. So change it at 6 months. Again, if it looks dirty, change it. Your 5-inch filter, every 9 to 12 months. Start checking it at 9 months. Same principle here. It's just with each, as the thickness grows, the surface area, the filter surface area is expanded, especially with the pleats in the filters. The pleats offer more surface area for filtration to be able to catch dirt and dust and that kind of thing. Bonus tip, set a reminder in your calendar. Super easy. If you have an iPhone, go to your calendar, set a thing on there, like an event that's exactly the distance away that you need to check your filter, and have it repeat on a cycle. You can set it how often you want it to repeat. Very helpful. Helps a lot of the homeowners that we have around here. Turning the thermostat way down in the summer or way up in the winter cools or heats your home faster. So maybe to offer a little bit of clarity before you dive into this, Brendan, is say it's 90 degrees outside, people are hot, and their house, they usually keep it set to 70, but they're going to drop the temperature down to 50 degrees because they think it'll cool the home faster, or vice versa. In the wintertime, it's 0 degrees outside, which it can be up here, and they have their home set to 68, but they turn it way up to 80, thinking it'll heat the home faster. Do you want to maybe parse this out and kind of give us an answer on if that myth is true or not?
Definitively no. Equipment heats or cools at a fixed rate. Now, equipment may have different stages that it's capable of engaging in, but if it's at 100% capacity, it's going to heat or cool at a fixed rate, meaning that the air coming out of the vents is not going to become magically hotter or colder because you've set it at the thermostat to a lower temperature. It will just run for a much longer period of time, and it may actually overshoot where you want it to be comfortable in your house.
Yeah, that's right. That's really good. what would be the most rewarding part of the job? What is the part of the job that when you go home at night, you either feel proud of yourself or proud of the work that you get to do? What is kind of that part of HVAC that kind of keeps you going, that really gives you that internal sense of satisfaction?
Yeah, me and Sam were on a install just last week, and we were kind of like talking about this. And it was a really late night. Equipment didn't get here in time, so it was a later start. And we just looked at each other and we're like, "Man, we know it's late, but it's really satisfying when the job looks good and you can get it done correctly." So I'd say the most rewarding part is tearing out the old unit and then putting in a new one, making it look as nice as you can, taking those pictures.
Hmm.
And then when you're off, you're looking at the pictures, you're like, man, that looks really good. Helping the home, especially in emergency situations. Um,
Hmm.
a dead of winter, snowstorm, furnace goes out, and we're out the next day to put in a furnace to get them some heat. I would say that that's pretty rewarding. It's a good feel. You have a good feel to what you just did, and making the job look really nice the best you can. And so, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'd agree with you on that. And it seems to me like you find a lot of satisfaction in a job well done, in a high quality job. And also kind of, that point that you made about helping out customers in emergencies, that's a real big one for me. As a technician, I've had customers standing in front of me that are in tears, like thanking me for getting their furnace up and running because it was 45 degrees in their house when I got there. So, and as we're coming into winter, those seem to be increasingly relevant. So, Sam, moving on to you, what is probably the most rewarding part of the job? The part of the job that helps you sleep well at night, the part of the job that you're most proud of. What keeps you going as far as HVAC is concerned?
Well, we're all going to kind of say the same thing here, but I can add another thing to it. But it is helping customers with emergencies. I've been out till midnight working on a system because their house was 45 degrees.
Yep.
I've been out on holidays, big holidays. I've been out on Thanksgiving. I think I ran a call on Christmas Day one year. For an elderly couple who had no heat. And granted, did I want to go to work on Christmas? No. But leaving that house with the system running and seeing how happy they were on just something as little as heat, that was really, really rewarding and made me glad that I actually had a call on Christmas.
Yeah.
Mainly because of that reason. Another thing that is rewarding is, you guys, as HVAC techs, no one in this world knows every single thing there is about HVAC. Doesn't matter how long you've been in the trade.
It's true.
There is something new to learn every single day. But something that's really rewarding is me going out on a call, working on something I've never worked on before, and leaving with it running, fixing it.
Yeah.
In the in the manufacturer manual, diagnosing it, getting it running on something that I've never worked on. That is probably the most satisfying thing there is for me.
Yeah, super satisfying to kind of walk up on a problem and that you're scratching your head at. You're like, man, I have no idea where to start, and then by the end of it, it's working because you fixed it. And yeah, that's an incredibly satisfying part of the. We'll just review the myths that we went over and their yes or no answers. Myth number 1: bigger HVAC systems are always better. No, I would say no, that's not true. Brendan, myth number 2: you only need to change your filter once a year.
Depends on the filter size.
Right. Yep, I would agree. We were kind of contextualizing it around a 1-inch filter. So in that case, I would say the answer would also be no. Myth number 3: closing vents in unused rooms saves energy.
It does not, no.
Perfect. Myth number 4: maintenance is unnecessary unless something breaks.
We do not recommend that, no.
No, we don't. And myth number 5: turning the thermostat way down in the summer or way up in the winter cools or heats your home faster.
That is incorrect.
Incorrect. Yes. Wonderful. Any funny funny interactions happening on a job? Anything that's a little bit comical? Anything that maybe stuck out to you? Maybe an interaction between you and Sam? Anything like that?
Yeah. So over the summer, we had a huge job. Quoted it for 2 days, and it was an attic job in the summer. And Sam knows the customer who I'm talking about. We're up in the attic. We took the temperature up there is like 130 degrees. And so we're coming down every 15, 20 minutes. And the customer comes out and goes, man, it doesn't look like you guys are working much. And we're like, oh, no, we're working. We just can't be up there for longer than 25 minutes. Well, why is that? We said, it's 130 degrees up there. And he goes, well, we have a pool in the back. You guys can go dunk your head up in water, cool off. And we're like, well, that sounds really amazing right now, actually, but I don't think we can do that. And so he went back in. Me and Sam went back up in the attic, and like we were just talking. We're like, what would you do to go jump in that pool right now
Yeah.
to just cool off? So yeah, that one, that was, I never had a customer say I could go use their pool to cool off, especially on an install.
I'm honestly shocked that Sam just didn't belly flop into the pool as soon as he said that.
Yeah.
Like full uniform, everything.
Yeah. Listen, it was so hot. That's our shirts. The office bring me another shirt because my shirt was so sweaty. Felt like I just got out of a pool.
Yeah, that happens, dude. That's man, those attics are hot. I get that for sure. So I'm sorry, Sam, what did you say?
I said before he offered for us to jump in the pool, he first asked us, why is the job taking so long? And he said, is it because it's hot? He said, I got a fan up there. I can put up there for you guys.
This is a valid question. Why is it taking so long?
Have heat stroke.
That's funny. So the next thing here that I wanted to tackle, and I appreciate those stories from you guys, kind of makes it a little bit more real and lets the homeowner know, get kind of an inside look into what goes into an HVAC installation and all the hard work that goes into that. Because this show, Chat HVAC is all about providing information and providing education to homeowners, and answering their questions. So they're the people that we want to see this. But all that being said, you guys have seen a lot. You guys do a lot of our install. You both have done some service. What is maybe one of the most unique problems that you've run into in the field? Seth, we'll let you go ahead and start that answer.
One of the most unique problems, like, do you mean like different, like
unique, hard, different, whatever, just a particular service area that stuck out to you?
I'll say when, there's a no heat and, we're looking into the unit, checking everything. And then we get to, their flames will kick on and then they kick off. Probably say a flame sensor issue, because it's something that's not really a bigger part. So it is like, so if the homeowner does try to, some homeowners will try to look into their own unit and fix their own unit without having to call someone. That's something they can miss because it's kind of in the back tucked away. You don't really see it unless you're actually looking for it. So I'd say that is probably a harder issue to look for if you are the homeowner, because I know some homeowners try to fix their own unit before calling a HVAC company coming out because they don't want to spend money.
Yeah. And that's kind of some of the point of this podcast is to provide them with some information to be able to check some things that are, relatively easy to look at. But a flame sensor, yeah, that's a little bit more of a difficult issue for a homeowner to diagnose themselves without some sort of mechanical aptitude.